Good evening, members of the Board of Chosen Freeholders. James M. Bennett, 38 Fairview Avenue, Summit. When gas, electricity, and water are included in rent, tenants pay little attention to waste. When these utilities are directly metered to tenants, tenants become more vigilant. The same principle applies by analogy to municipal, school district, and county government and taxes. Let's park that thought and move to something related. In Union County, the perception is that Summit is a cash cow. A corollary to that perception, and I repeat the word perception, is that the Board of Chosen Freeholders welcomes our money, but not our opinions, particularly when it comes to taxes and government waste. What is the difference between Summit constituents and, say, Elizabeth constituents? The Summit voter is more likely to be a homeowner who pays attention to property taxes. The Elizabeth voter is more likely to be a tenant. Tenants think property taxes don't matter because property taxes are concealed in rent. When tax increases are passed on, the landlord looks like the bad guy when the bad guy is really government. If property taxes were to be separately metered, tenants would become more vigilant about taxes and waste, and Elizabeth voters would become more like Summit voters. How would separate metering work? 5 points. First, landlords would either register leases or face consequences. Second, in addition to registration, tax collectors would direct bill tenants who would either register leases or who would be primarily liable for property tax, and a copy of the bill would go to the landlord. Third, after registration and direct billing, landlords must reduce their rent by the amount of tax that is now being direct billed to the tenant. Fourth, after registration, direct billing, and rent reduction, landlords become liable as sureties for the payment of local property taxes. For that liability, landlords can require an additional escrow of 1/4 property taxes. Tenants would receive the same legal safeguards for this escrow that they now receive under the security deposit law. Landlords receive a copy of all delinquency and deficiency notices and would have a claim over against the tenant for any tenant property tax that landlords are made to pay, and non-payment of tax would also be grounds for eviction. Finally, after registration, direct billing, rent reduction, and landlord's secondary liability, tenants would have concurrent standing with their landlords to challenge property assessments and their allocation to the tenant. So, what's in this for you as freeholders besides more admin, more paperwork, and angry tenants storming Elizabethtown Plaza with torches and pitchforks? Your receivables would drop and your collections would rise because now you would have two parties and possibly an escrow to look to instead of just one for tax delinquencies and deficiencies. This proposal requires legislation at the state level, but you as freeholders, if you agree, can pass a resolution in support and send it to the governor's office and to each state legislator whose district is at least partially in Union County. I would welcome such a perception dispelling resolution. Thank you.
Wow.